So if you were to go back in time, what would you do differently if you could go back in time?
This is a tough question. So if I could go back in time, then I probably would, I guess, be more active. Well, I recognize the importance of networking, but as a junior researcher at the time, I was really shy, and I myself an introvert, so I actually did not actively go and find, contacts and talk to people. So I guess if I could, and now I know from Catherine that everybody's very nice and don't hesitate to contact and to talk to them. So I will be more active in approaching people, and probably would try to publish more during the time, because for the first year after my PhD, I actually did 70%. Basically, I was in a teaching intensive role, so I didn't have a lot of time for research. And the 5 years after PhD is actually a really important time as an ECR. So I guess if I could, then I would have focused more on my research and publications during the, the immediately after my PhD and during my PhD. So
yeah. And the reason why you say first 5 years is important is because of the grant application. Like when you early career researcher, internally, you can apply for grants and all that. You have more papers, and externally as well, like Felix as an example, he got the DECRA. So all of that had to be done within the first 5 years. So, Sarah, not everybody can choose, like myself. I also start as a 80% teaching focus in my first business school. In fact, I work in an Indian business school, SPJN, which I'm thankful for that, which made me know a lot of Indian colleagues today. And that's why I love to work with them. My point here is that we not always can choose the direction of where we start and just like other people. So we just have to make do of, the best of what we have, and then we might success in thing, we might not be success in thing, we might have just to learn from it and then move on in a positive manner. And that's message to also everybody as well. And thank you so much for that, Sarah. Now we move on to Felix. If you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
And I say I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't. It's just simply because, I think first of all, I think I did my best as I could. Again, can I do better if I go back? I might, but I've done my best as much as I know at that point of time. And secondly, I think the reason is not like what my life is perfect now or my academic job is perfect now. It's more like I also acknowledge that a lot of things is beyond my control. Like that's like timing, when I get my first job, I do my best, but then I get my first job as well because one of my good colleagues basically let me know that there's an opening. And then when I go to NSMAC, the head of school, she came to my presentation. That's why she know me. It doesn't mean that I get a job afterwards, but because I do my best as well, right? But so I guess what I mean is like, as much as I'm in control, I've done my best, and then the rest is actually there's a lot of things that I got. It's beyond my control. I'm lucky, so I'm grateful for that. So that's why I don't think I would do differently. I'm just really grateful to be here at this point of time, I think.
Thank you, Felix. You done well. Catherine.
Well, I have to say I don't want to do differently. I think I'm happy with the journey I have gone through, and I was very research focused. Even my job was teaching focused. I was research focused. I spent lots of time doing research. So I teach most of the subjects, as a junior academic. However, I spent all my weekends, public holidays doing research, which helped me get a promotion fast, and which helped me, brand myself, get better branding and gain the reputation worldwide. What I want to do different? Different is that I could have thought about doing some publications when I was doing PhD. I did not do any publications. I had no idea how to publish and what a publication was about when I was a PhD student. So yes, that probably was something I would wanted to learn. But after that, and And because I had no publications, didn't know how to publish, I worked like, 100 times harder when I become a lecturer. So that's something I would think, do something different, just, have a better, think better, or have better advice when you're doing PhD. Yeah, that's something I would have thought.
Thank you, Catherine. Yes. Now we move on to the last section of the questions. So anyone like to have a question, just put in the chat section. I might start with Catherine as a first question. Thank you, Professor Catherine. By the way, in the tourist marketing research, apart from the methodology, are there other domain determinants for high ranking journal to be accept the paper?
I already mentioned it before. It's just the concept, creating new theories. That's very important. So methodology for most editors, it's the most important. Is the most important factor. Then if you could think about something unconventional, try to do something unconventional in terms of the concepts, like creating new theories, and something contradicting, or something like contradicting to what most people believe. Whatever you can think differently from majority of researchers do. That will help you get a chance, and something you can impress editor. And one of the things is you need to understand the editor, what he or she is like or wants, and do some research on the editor. That's very important as well. So even for the same journal, when they change editorship, you will find big differences. Different editor, you might get for the same paper, the different editors, you get different opportunity. So there's many reasons: methodology and the new concepts, and something unconventional, not just innovative. Needs to be unconventional, something attract editors' attention and to understand the editors. So that's my advice.
Yes. While you're there, I might ask you one more question, because it's about editorial management. So from Lakma. So the question is about the journals that require or recommend people, author, to share their data. What do you do? Could you please explain about this data sharing? What's going to happen with it, and the benefit of having it?
Okay. The reason that most journals are asking for data sharing is because we wanted to check the rigorousness, and to know that replicability, whether we can reproduce the results. And also to share the data, like I said, if you share, other people share, and it's to help young early career researchers to get free data. That's another reason. So first reason is that, we want to make sure the data collection process was done appropriately. And the second is about, whether this replicable results. And third is about, sharing data, having stored in the cloud, just for future use, like, for those who do meta-analysis. And it's good to share. And if you don't share, that's fine. You just say we will data on request. That's fine. But sometimes editors, like for me, I always check your data analysis, how you analyze data. Sometimes I find I suspected the process of analyzing data. I would do it myself. So they are able to request data from the authors. So there's a few reasons.
Thank you. There's one more question I might throw through Sarah in terms of are there any external sources in terms of getting grants apart from the home university? Given that this question is come from Australia context, what would be your suggestion, Sarah?
I think the conferences themselves actually also have funding for students to travel to attend the conference too. So it would also be advisable to check whether the conference offer that kind of funding. And generally, usually the opportunities, like funding opportunity, would come from the university, because they would like to support the candidate to travel.
Yes.
So
you're right. And from time to time, the government also have sources for international student or domestic student to travel, and small grant as well. So thank you so much for the question. Now let's